Hello there, great person, and welcome to another reading session of The Wheel of Time. Today I'm gonna tackle chapter 4 and 5, and yeah, let's see where it goes. Let's see where it will leave us off, and yeah, we will just start today. Nothing to say other than, yeah, if you like this, consider liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell. But yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm gonna start reading chapter 4, which is called The Gleeman. And yeah, it's Tom. So let's see how Tom's described here. I liked him in the show a lot. Probably one of my favorite characters in the show, even though he was in what, 3 episodes, 2 episodes, but he was great. So let's just start. Interesting. So we are starting off with clothes again. So Tom has clothes that are patched up, and we knew that already, but they're colorful, and it says here that it seems as if they were just put on without being needed, so there are no problems with the cloak, it's just that they look pretty. I don't know. So it's interesting. So it's probably something like Tom wants to show the people how colorful he is. I don't know. I mean, in the show, he looked just like a raggedy old man, and here she looked a bit. That's interesting. In the show, the people are not this flashy, Moraine was flashy as well in the last chapter or the chapter before that, and now here Tom is flashy as well. And I think that's interesting. I think in the show they went more for a Game of Thrones style, yeah, medieval and bleak, and like that feeling, but the feeling from this book already is a bit more. Yeah, there are more colorful aspects of it. Oh, and Egwene is excited for the Gleeman. So it's not only Matt. Interesting. So he is described here as very old, has a very big, thick mustache. I currently imagine him like, do you know the movie The Golden Compass with Nicole Kidman? And yeah, the guy who played Lee Scoresby there. I imagine him like this currently, even though I know how he looks in the show, but this is completely different. Yes, yes, he looks a lot. Seems to look a lot more like an old. What do you call it? Not a sage, but like this great grandfather figure. I don't know. It's just what I get from this. Yeah, and his eyes are blue. His eyes are blue. And Rand asks himself, maybe Len comes from there too. From the place where no one has dark eyes. Dark eyes. Yeah, it's probably because of the Manetheren backstory that is set up here, I think. And the blue eyes, I don't know what that's about. Perhaps it's, the normal eye color from beyond the villages and from beyond the two rivers. I don't know, but might as well be. so he, so Thomas came here. They told him that he could easily get there from the village he was in before, and he started too late, and then he came. The innkeeper grumbled at him, and then it came out that the innkeeper actually wanted him there because he's the head of the village council and the mayor. So stupid. What? I wonder why. So because the mayor didn't seem that grumbly to me in the previous chapters. Perhaps it's just because it's late and it's uncommon for him, and he would rather the people come, I don't know, at noon and then they rent their room or whatever, and it's just unusual, and that's why he's grumpy, even though he wanted the Gleeman there. I don't know, or perhaps he doesn't know. Well, he has to know that it's the Gleeman because the Gleeman looks like a phoenix or what is it called? Peacock, a peacock. I don't know. Okay, and so they don't treat him well, apparently. So they look at him strangely because he's a foreigner, perhaps. This is giving me more of the vibe of, yeah, the foreigner comes into the inn of an already, yeah, quite closed community, and they don't like him because he's a foreigner. That's what vibe this gives me. And Moraine did not give me that vibe when they interacted with her. So this is and the Patton Fen as well. He did not give me that vibe that everyone didn't like him because he was a foreigner. I mean, Patton Fane probably is there so often that everyone already accepts him as part of the village, so to speak, you know. But it's interesting to get a new perspective on strangers from the village that is more with what I would have expected average stranger to be treated like, you know? But the children seem happy that he's here, but he says also, then a girl child shouts at me to get out. Why? Oh, perhaps it's Nynaeve. Perhaps that was Nynaeve. Oh, that would be so funny if it was Nynaeve. Yeah. Yeah, that was our wisdom. What's wrong with Nynaeve in the book? It's so weird. Oh god. It's just like she's just like Squidward. I don't know why that comparison came to my mind. And she's like grumping and you all are so it's so stupid. Yeah, and they all think, yeah, you should better not tell her that she's a child and you know she should be flirting with men, not her style. And Rand tries to explain it that everyone's because of the war, yeah, because of the news they got. That's why they are that way. I hadn't thought about that because sometimes I don't get things. I should have gotten that earlier. You know, it's of course because they think, okay, there's a war. Everyone that now comes into the village is like, you know, this little germ entering into your clean house, even though they asked him to come. You know, that's yeah, I get it. But Tom says old news even in Badon, so everyone already knew that news quite some time. So yeah, interesting. And he knows Patton Fane. He did not he did not interact in any way with him in the show, so that's interesting. So Patton Fane seems to be quite famous. Ooh, interesting. Wow, that's so interesting. If I hadn't known the Patton Fane twist, and I don't know really what the twist is yet, you know, I just know he's spoilers. He's an evil A bag. But here, Tom says there's more raven in him than man. So perhaps the raven Moraine saw was from Patton Fane. And perhaps, that is so interesting. It's so cool. That's so good. There's more raven in him than man. Yeah, that's an important line, I feel. That's foreshadowing for sure. Because the raven was so prominent in the last chapters. Yeah, and he says Patton Fane only brings bad news and stuff like that, and then Egwene starts to be a bit eat off because here then she's still smiling, but she's a bit. You better don't talk bad about Patton Fane, and he's always full of laughter. Laughter. He is. He's probably full of laughter because he's fooling everyone, and he's apparently bringing good news. That's not how he was. I think it's or perhaps he is. Perhaps he's always just bringing the news and just because he felt like it was really enjoying people not knowing what he knew, so it might not matter what news he has. It's just that he wants to feel that he knows more than others, and that's what he really likes. I don't know. No, he's flirting with her Gwen. What? And you should have rosebuds in your hair. So that might tell us something about either the culture around those areas, say for the village because they have the braids, but the rosebuds. So roses are a sign of beauty in this world, at least part of this world as well. And he says he could pull them out of thin air, you know, little magic trick that he doesn't have once because the winter was too harsh for roses to bloom anywhere he could normally buy them, apparently. Something like that, or pluck them. I don't know. Perhaps he just steals roses all the time. I could see that. And the Gwen is not very pleased about that. Oh, and she wants to assist him. Okay. Yeah, and now we get his name. Tom Marilyn. Tom Marilyn. And now he's telling everyone his name, show act, and he wants everyone to know that he's the Gleeman, Tom Marilyn. Yeah, I mean, fine. And now they ask Tom for more. So Matt is asking him for more news about the war things and the Aes Sedai and stuff like that. Oh, and now it's interesting. Tom is really like a magician because now he made his pipe disappear. I mean, it's probably not really a magic act that he intended, but it's described the way that he has this little magic tricks, these little silly tricks that he can do. Ah, wow, that's so different from the show. In the show, he was just this cool guy, even though he's cool here still, but he's a lot different. Yeah, I like that. I like both versions actually. They are both their own way, but they're both very, very cool. And knowing something about the Aes Sedai makes Tom being unsafe. I don't know why, but yeah. So the Aes Sedai are bad news. We already knew that from the last chapter, but here it's brought up again. And he is quite wise, because he says this after Matt asks again for the war. In wars, boy, fools kill other fools for foolish causes. That's enough for anyone to know. I am here for my art. Yeah, so he calls other people fools, even though he's kind of a fool, or a jester. Not directly, but it's like that. At least the way I understood this Gleeman thing, because I don't know the term. I don't know if it's made up for this book series or if it's an English term. I just don't know this Gleeman term. But he comes off as like this court jester or stuff like that, and or a bard. Yeah, he says he had been a court bard. So this fool type person, and he calls others fools. That's an interesting detail. This is also foreshadowing. We know that. He spots Rand and says he's Sutton, and then he says, "Point is you're an axe handle across the shoulders and as tall as an Aiel man." Hint, hint. Yeah, funny. Oh, and here Ogiers are introduced because he looks at Perrin and he says to him, "And you almost have the size of an Ogier." Perrin's called Perrin Aibara. I probably know that already, but I forgot. I can remember it better when, reading it. I love this. So it tells me, yeah, we're not made up creatures from your stupid stories. And Tom is just like, well, now, made up creatures from my stories. Is that what they are? Your lands are widely traveled, I see. So he's just like, yeah, guys, you know nothing. You just know these stupid fairy tales and you think they're fairy tales. Well, they're all true. It's all true. All of it. Yeah. Okay, so they had a little contest of who's cooler, all of them. But now it goes to Rand's size again. So I'm quite excited to get more of that, more hints as to what that means. He's talking about he's just preparing a magic trick because he'll weigh more than anyone can lift, not even Rand or Perrin. So he's just preparing a trick. Okay, I see. It's so it's he's just playing a trick, but it's foreshadowing for Rand being an Aiel. But yeah. Oh, and now he's preparing a sample of magic tricks for them. Let's see what he does. And he's juggling. Okay. And now he's telling stories. I have stories and I will give them to you. I will make them come alive for your eyes. I like that. I like people who tell stories in books. Okay, for the women and girls, the entire Aptarigine cycle. I don't know what that is. Tales of Arthur Pendrag Tenriel. That sounds so much like Arthur Pendragon. Is that the Knights of the Round Table tale just passed down through 3,000 billion years? You know what I mean? Through the ages? Arthur Hawkwing. Arthur the High King. Yeah, that is, yeah, okay, it's the same Arthur. Arthur Pendrag Tenriel, Arthur Hawkwing, Arthur the High King, who once ruled all the lands from the Aiel Waste to the Erith Ocean and even beyond. I think that's the King Arthur tale, though, distorted through time. That might be. I'm not sure. It might also be another Arthur, but this, especially this Arthur Pendrag, looks so much like Arthur Pendragon. I could imagine that's the tale from the Round Table. I don't know if it's called that in English. I only know the German name, but I hope you know which one I mean. This sounds so much like that. So we have the Green Man. The Green Man, that looks, it sounds like a horror story. Warders and Trollocs, we know what those are, and Ogier and Aiel, we know who those are, at least in principle as well. And then he goes on, the Thousand Tales of Anla, the Wise Counselor, I don't know who that is. Jaime the Giant Slayer. That also sounds like Jack the Giant Slayer or Jack and the Beanstalk. This is, yeah. How Susan tamed Jane Farstrider, okay. Mara and the Three Foolish Kings. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I would like to hear those stories, but some of them sound, and this might be completely wrong, and I might be imagining things or interpreting too much into this because I know that this is the third age. We are the first age, so to speak, currently, and I know people have told me that things were, carried over in principle to the third age from our age. So that means I might misinterpret and overinterpret this. I'm fully aware of that, but it's I think, yeah, it points towards that, I think. Yeah, this is it as well. Tell us about Len, Egwin called, how he flew to the moon in the belly of an eagle made of fire. Tell us about his daughter Saya walking among the stars. This for sure seems to be Armstrong, Louis Armstrong. The names are different. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is the part you told me about where it's hinted at that our age existed. And it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. This might just be coincidence, but yeah, it fits. I mean, it fits. I just don't know who Salya is. Might be in our future. I mean, they're currently developing warp drives, so let's see where we are in 200 years. Okay, so Egwene loves clever stories about women who outsmart everyone. And funny stories. Yeah, I get that. Those are great kinds of stories. Okay, I don't know what this means. To put a boar under his shirt. Explain that to me in the comments, perhaps. Or I will just talk to my friends about this because they have the German version, and then I can ask them what this means. But yeah. So, but let's get back to the moon landing. What has Tom to say? Old stories, those, yeah. Yes, yeah. Okay, here's okay. It's here. Stories from the ages before the Age of Legends. It's that. So it's King Arthur and it's Niels Armstrong. Wow, great. Ages when man ruled the heavens and the stars, and ages when man roamed as brother to the animals. Ages of wonder, ages of horror, ages ended by fire raining from the skies, and ages doomed by snow and ice covering land and sea. So Ice Age? There is an Ice Age here. There is the Stone Age. And there's the future of our age, probably, this ruling the stars. I imagine that it's like that. Tales of Mosk the Giant with his lands of fire that could reach around the world. His wars with Elspeth, the queen of all. Tales of Therese the healer, mother of the wondrous Ind. I don't know what that means. If you know what that means, yeah, let me know. But queen of all. Mosk the Giant. Is that, and this is really, 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 really reaching, and it's probably absolutely rubbish. Please tell me in the comments what you think about this. I think this is reaching and rubbish and stupid, but what my association with this is Tales of Mosk the Giant with his lands of fire that could reach around the world. I think that's the Cold War. And his war with Elspeth, the queen of all. Queen of All seems like America, and Tales of Morsk the Giant, a bit like Russia because Moscow, you know, or Moscow. I don't know what it's called in English, and perhaps it's just yeah, Queen of All because a land of the free, land of all. You know, America, what they always say. I think this is. And this is probably not what it is. It's just my associations I'm spitting out here, so I might be wrong. I think that's the Cold War. Tales of Moscow Giant with his lands of fire that could reach around the world. Yeah, the rockets. The rockets. I think it's the rockets. Oh yeah, Tales of Meteoris, the healer, mother of the wondrous Ind. Perhaps that's someone in India? Great healer in India? I don't know. I'm reaching here. It's just fun speculation. Tell me what you think these mean. I have no idea. I have to be clear. I have no idea. That's just what I think. I'm looking forward to discuss this with my friends. This is gonna be so interesting. Okay, now he's going on about the breaking and stuff like that. We know all of that, and then he goes on the siege of the pillars of the sky. What is that? Is that something like the eye of the world? I don't know. It might be their age. The good wife Carol killed her husband of Snorri. I don't think that's that important, but that's a story Egwin might like, if Rand is correct. King Darith and the fall of the house of. And now he's interrupted, and I don't know what he was about to say. Ooh, Moraine's here and land, and they make him stop. Let's get going. Your pardon, but you're surely not from this district. No, she's not. And now, Erwin is a bit stupid. Erwin is playing them up against each other, even though he doesn't know, and it's not that bad, But Erwin says, Lady Moraine collects stories. Yeah, this is gonna be wild. Also, she again says, I don't want to be called lady because she doesn't want to do called lady because she wants to get on this personal level, perhaps, or perhaps she doesn't want to be reminded of her past. I know she has been a noble woman, so it was a lady, probably. Oh, yeah, and stories about things that happened in the Two Rivers, though I don't know whatever happened here to make a story of, so they don't know about Manethrin. That's probably what they are alluding to here, but yeah. Oh, that's cute. Rand wonders what entertainment Moraine could have gotten in the great cities, but it couldn't have been better than a Glee Man, no. It's so cute. Yeah, and this is also ringing some bells. I am a simple gleeman, nothing more. No, nothing more. Because in the show he was certainly more than a simple gleeman. He was like this. I don't know even know what he was. But he was a great character in the show. Yeah, and he doesn't like them. Almost not pleased at all. And now that he has been interrupted, they are starting at it again. They're just suggesting these jester acts like juggling, eating fire, or getting out the harp and singing some stuff. And now the Witch Council comes out together with Nynaeve. So Nynaeve was with them questioning Ed and Fane. Nynaeve is really painted in a bad light here. Interesting. This is so weird, so confusing. Every scene she's put in, she seems like this either someone that is different from the others or someone that's easily to anger, and a bit rash to jump to conclusions and stuff like that. I don't know. I get that feeling from her here. I mean, if she's anything like her TV show character on the inside, and then I see where it fits, but I hope we get more pure Nynaeve in the future, and I think we will. Probably we will. And now they're dissing Thome. Why, guys? Why? Stop it. Thome's great. He was telling us about these great stories that I would have liked to hear them. It would be so interesting to see what Robert Jordan made from our history. From the moon landing. How would he have told it in this distorted, age past, sorry for that word, style, I would have liked that. And Nynaeve is a bit, yeah, he said, why? She says here, but as long as you're worrying, there are others here who should excite your worry. So does she mean Pat and Fane, or does she mean Moraine and Lan? We'll see. Probably Moraine and Len because she doesn't like Moraine. Yeah, okay, she's talking about Moraine and Len, yeah. Okay, and she is probably, yeah, she seems to have had a temper tantrum again. She obviously called him a fool in front of the council, which is disrespectful. I'm so unsure how this relationship between the women and the men in this village is because Nynaeve is part of the women, so to speak, and their leader in, yeah, let's put it in quotation marks, their leader. And she's disrespectful here, but it doesn't seem to be accepted in the village that she is this way. You know, it's, I don't know, it's so weird. Yeah, and now she's being rude to him as well. Again, why? Why is she so rude? Yeah, and now Rand is looking after Egwene, and Egwene, or looking at her, and Egwene leaves with Nynaeve together. And that's something my friend as well said. I should that no, no, that I should do anything, but that the relationship between um, Nynaeve and Egwene is interesting and develops a lot through the story. So I will really look at that. I will really watch out for those situations. Yeah, you can be sure of that. If there is anything more I should look out for, tell me. But don't spoil anything, of course. And Rand is not sure how he feels about her. And he's thinking about going with her, I think, if I understand this correctly. But yeah, it's much more complicated than in the show. Yeah, and then this old dude says, she wants a husband. I know. No, you don't, mate. You don't. Yeah, and the mayor, yeah, here it says, now it says it outright, as I suspected earlier that it's strange that the mayor is so short-tempered. The mayor never lets his temper get the best of him. Bran glared. That's, yeah, there's something really wrong. Is it just the war? Is it the strangers in the village? What is it? Why is he so weird? And then he goes back to the inn. Okay, so all they got from Pattern Fane is that the war has not spread past Gildan, and they're relieved because they won't be called to war. Battles interest me, Matt said. Why? Why is he interested in battles? We can see no reason for Aes Sedai to come here on their way south. Yeah, mate, you're in for a surprise. Oh, so the White River is a lot bigger here. In the show, I think it was the river. But perhaps it was supposed to be the river where Egwene was thrown into by Nynaeve in the ceremony. You know, with the rapids. But here it's a river, so it's taller and or wider. You know, it's wider and dangerous. And yeah. So they're like in a bottle where you can only enter from Terran's Ferry. Okay, and they're gonna create a watch. Okay. Yeah, and they will do it only tomorrow because of Beltane, because they want to celebrate all of them. That's cool. But I thought you said we didn't have to worry. Perrin said, and Tem shook his head. I said, should not. Boy, not did not. uh, yeah, and they just want to make sure that no one takes advantage of the situation and the panic of the people. Oh, and Matt wants to be part of the riders. So Matt has also this longing to see more and this longing for adventure. Oh, and they are going back to the farm. And he takes Rand with him. Why? Oh, but they will get for the. So I think he just wants to make sure that the farm's okay because something weird is going on. Oh, the Tinkers are mentioned. Okay. So they all want to go on this patrol. Perrin and Matt and Rand. Yeah, and Rand is afraid of the man in the black cloak. All of them understood that Perrin meant they should find witnesses who were more reliable than Matt. Yeah, man, you do so much stupid stuff. That's how you're gonna get treated. Okay, they find their horses. Oh, fine. I don't know if that's. We just get that they are good horses. Tom's, perhaps. Perhaps. But Moraine's and Lance are great horses. Okay, yeah. And Rand is preparing to shoot the rider. And now he's characterizing the people, that they just continue and they will just start over. That's their mindset, you know? If everything was destroyed, they would just say, okay, we start over. Yeah, that's an interesting characteristic for them. But oh yeah, I see. But the things they will just start over with is like nature, something they can't control. But the thought of this dragon, like evil from people, that's what they don't like. Yeah. So war is a lot worse, and that's true. War is a lot worse than natural catastrophes because natural catastrophes or wolf attacks or so, they just happen, but wars are planned by people. They are malicious. That's a different level, and I understand why they are wary of that. And you say it like that, and why they are afraid of that. Yeah, and they don't want to ruin the festival. That's why they questions Pen Fane in an in a room where no one was, and they could just say, yeah, there was nothing, and there was probably nothing from their perspective, but they want to calm it down. Yeah, so it was that they wanted to calm them down, and that's why they put them into the room. Yeah, and Tem believed him with the rider. I guess so. Yeah, so they want to wait for the watch and they want to go after the rider. That's yeah, okay, that's clever. Oh, every boy sees him. Yeah, now he's at ease because Tam says, yeah, I know that thing's there or that guy, and whatever he is, we'll go after him. And if he's just a refugee, we will perhaps put him somewhere where he can have some rest. And if he's a bad influence, so to speak, we'll just write him off. Yeah, but this is probably wrong. That others knew and believed made all the difference. There was nothing the black-cloaked horsemen could do. The people of Eamon's Field could not handle together. You're so wrong there, mate. But yeah, so that was chapter 4. So 3 things happened. The stories were told. Hmm. I really like that aspect. I hope we get more of about the stories that were told, like more about our time and how it's seen in legend. I'm quite interested in that. We had some interesting interactions, like we had an interaction between Moraine and Tom. We had an interaction between Nynaeve and the others again, and she was weird again. We had an interaction between Tem and Rand that was quite good, and but they are now leaving because yeah, this rider thing seems to be more problematic than they thought. And yeah, that's about it, but it's quite an interesting thing. So they were believed. I'm glad that they were, and more people saw the rider. So the Shade is probably after just a boy because the Shade thinks the dragon is gonna be a boy, and it's gonna look for it, him or her, because we know it might be a her. I mean, it's not. We know it's Rand, but at least that's what my current knowledge is, that it's Rand. Egwene wants to go away, and Rand seems to be troubled about that a bit, though he's not sure what to make of it exactly. Yeah, and this role that the Gleeman has is interesting because at first everyone wanted him there and they wanted to celebrate with him, but now that this war news came up, they are weary or wary. What is that word? I don't know how to pronounce it, but they are careful. Let's say it like that. Of strangers coming there to their village. Um, Understandably so, because it changes your perspective on things. You know, if you judge other people, it's always from a certain perspective. And if your framework of interpretation, so to speak, changes, like, yeah, there's a war going on, and it changes your opinion as well, and your point of view a lot. And they are more afraid of wars than of droughts or harsh winters or wolf attacks, which means they are, yeah, a war is something, you know. But yeah, let's continue with chapter 5, Winter Night. So we will probably get Beltine now. Yeah, and they are, so Rand and Tam are living alone in a house. We know that. Yeah, okay, so he looks at his animals, Rand does, and he sees they are warmish. So he says, yeah, the rider was probably not here because they would have been upset. Yeah, I get that. The dark rider did appear. He had no intention of facing him with nothing but a hoe. Ah, yeah, I mean, hit it with a hoe. Oh god. I have to think about the stupid Donald Duck meme. I don't know. Yeah, there are probably many people not from Germany here that are listening to this currently, so I will take this occasion to ask you, do you know these Donald Duck comics? Loved them as a child. There's this one where Donald throws away a hoe and says, "Go away, hoe," and they do great memes with them. But yeah, so do you have these stories that come out each month about Donald Duck and Mickey and stuff like that? I love them. Okay, back to Wheel of Time. Yeah, and the problems are starting to show with the long winter because the animals don't, so the cow doesn't give enough milk probably, and the sheep are not yet at the pasture and eating the grass and stuff like that. So yeah, that can be so bad. Those times when the winter just came, yeah. I mean, it's like that. I think we know scientifically that in warmer times a lot more progress could be done than and inventions and stuff like that. I think it correlates a bit. So progress correlates with the temperature. So if it's hotter, more progress is done than when it's colder, because when it's cold, you have to try not to starve, and if it's warm, you don't starve because it's good, and you can think about other stuff. You know, it's so it shows a bit like what it's like to have a cold time in winter, in long winters, in a yeah, in cold ages. Yeah, and Rand just has his quiver and his bow close by, just in case. Yeah, and there it is again, this thought, what if it stays cold? What if the winter stays? What if we all starve? That's what it is. In those times, you don't worry about the future, you worry about tomorrow. You know, and with the future, I mean the next year. You don't care for the next year, you care for tomorrow because you might starve tomorrow. It's like, yeah, that's what many people don't see. I don't know. It's like, yeah, why don't you care for the future of the planet or so? And some people might try not to starve currently. I mean, yeah, we can worry about that. We can. We don't starve tomorrow, but there are people who will starve tomorrow, and they will not care what is in 50 years. So yeah, it's such a yeah, whatever. There are many problems, but I like this passage of the book where it shows just what you think when you are about to starve. I mean, they're not really about to starve because I guess everything will be fine. I hope, but you know, it's yeah, old times. That's so bad. Yeah, he just works his chores off or whatever you say, and he still takes his bow everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, and now they're eating supper, but it just shows you the farm life. Good passage. Oh, that is very little detail, but I like it so they can all read. At least Ren and Tam can both read. So in those times, I don't know, you know, but they both can read. That's nice. I wonder why. Is that normal for them? I would like more information on that. And here again, Jane Fastrider. Who's that? And the books are bound with wood. Is that a reference to the Ogiers somehow? I don't know. Oh, that's even more interesting when you consider what I was saying in the during the show reactions about the Ogiers liking books and carrying them with them because they are made from their home forest clearing things. You know, the woods they come from, and I forgot the name. I'm sorry, I will read it again. And so the books are even bound in wood. So it's probably really the trees they're bound in their home. So they take their home with them. That's so I think that's confirms my theory. Just by the way, perhaps it will be confirmed later, more directly. Yeah, and he's locking the doors, which seems to be unusual as well. No one locked doors in the two rivers, so it's a very, very strange event to see that too. So their house door had never been locked. He might have not even seen the key before. It's like in East Frisia, by the way. So I'm from East Frisia. We are living in these little villages, and a friend of mine still lives there, and his door doesn't have a lock. They just don't have locks because they're in. Yeah, my wife just slammed the door. I don't know why. Perhaps the wind slammed it. Sorry, whatever. So we are from this little village, and he's still living there, and or he moved to a smaller city, but he doesn't lock his door. So because you don't need to, because everyone knows everyone, and that's the village mentality. It's quite yeah, quite realistic actually to have this here, because I know my grandparents and they lived in little villages like this, or I mean not on a farm, but yeah, my grandfather lived on a farm and he had a farm. So it's like, yeah, they didn't lock the doors back then. Now they do, I think most of them do now, but back then no one locked their doors. So it's, yeah, nice detail. He's taking out a sword, yeah. Oh, and the sword looks like lance. Yeah. I mean, in the show it did as well. It was a katana. Yeah, so he didn't know that his father owned a sword. Yeah, it's a katana. Could you give a sword like that away? Not much use in herding sheep. Yeah. You could hear them with it, though that would be a waste. Yeah, and now it comes up that Tem is not from there. Not from there. I wonder how much the village people, not the band again, knew about Tem's past, because he's obviously a council member now, so they respect him a lot. But how much do they know? Is he a council member because they know he comes from outside and was a warrior there and quite a great guy, or high up guy? Or I don't know. I would like to know that. So someone knocking at the door. Oh yeah, I think it's a troll just bashing down the door. That's a bit morbid. Rand felt the beginnings of an odd sort of relief. Whoever this was not the Black Cloaked Rider. So a giant animal man thing with mail and big sword is not as scary as the stupid cloaked figure. That is good writing. Oh, and now he throws the kettle at it, and that's quite clever actually. Yeah, oh my god. Rand is so much more badass. He just cuts them down like nothing. He's F you stupid Trollocs. You're just gonna get into my little living room, you strange things. Silly things. Yeah. But isn't the bag locked? So he wants Rand to run out the bag, but isn't that locked? So he wants Rand to hide in the forest. Hope they can't smell him. Yeah, it's locked. I thought so. Wow, there are many Trollocs running into that little house. Yeah, but Rand jumped out the window and he's hiding. But yeah, mate, I think you should slip away in the dark. Yeah, he's warning his father. Yeah, but the Trollocs probably heard him, so they will not pursue his father, but him. He's wrestling with the hoe. Oh God, I hope that you don't censor this one, because yeah, you know why. It's spelled H-O-E, not Sorry, stupid joke. Just have to think of Donald Duck. Donald Duck through whatever. I know this is a serious scene and I shouldn't be having that much fun with this stupid hoe, but oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah, let's just get on. Okay, so he slipped into the forest and then back into the barn, because the forest was more visible than the barn because of its greater shadows. I don't know. Clever move, probably. Oh, yeah, Tem just jumped out the window. Oh, he wants to save him. Oh god. But why is Ren shouting? Okay, yeah, I mean he wants to save his father. That's quite honorable, yeah. Wow. What a bad situation though. Yeah, he should have taken his bow, then he could have snapped them. I think he could have snapped them because the bow was described as being quite a sturdy and quite a strong bow. I think it was a long bow because people couldn't pull it, so it's probably a long bow. But what do I know? I don't know anything about bows. Wow, Tam actually lured them away. Now he grabbed Rand. Yeah, wow. Jesus, what is Tam's? Tam's such a badass. Some troll dogs can hear like a dog. Yeah, because they have dog ears. Naturally, they can hear. That's cool. Cool detail. Yeah, now the stories come and get him. Yeah, it's like here. Those things could be Trollocs or the Dark One himself for all he knew. Not just a story, not after tonight. Yeah, the story's coming. The story's coming for you. I like that. I like that actually so much that these first chapters is like the stories they heard, and you get told the stories a bit, and they come to get you. Yeah. Okay, so they are lazy, and they could probably track them, but they're lazy. I don't think that they would be lazy if a shade ordered them though. So okay, so he is a bit hurt, but not as badly hurt as in the show. Okay, now he's gonna get him to Nynaeve. Yeah. Yeah, you should get him to Nynaeve. That's important. Very important. And now he's playing with a sword while his father's bleeding out next to him. Great guy. Yeah, now he's sneaking in there. Oh god, poor sheep. They ended the sheep. Oh, what a shame. Sheep ending madman. Wow, he got 4 of them. Good lad. Tam, you're great. You got 4. Yeah. And they're stinking animal. Oh yeah, one's still alive. Great. One is still alive and getting him. Oh. The Trolloc is called Nog. Nog. Sounds like Rick and Morty stuff. Oh. Yeah. They want to capture them. The Trolloc here says Myrdral won't talk you. So Myrdral, is that the Dark One? Dark One wants to talk to him. No, it's a shade. Myrdral is a shade, yeah. Now the Trolloc jumped into his sword. What a employee of the month, really. Poor Nog. Nog, employee of the month. Okay, so the story said Fates were 20 feet tall, with eyes of fire, and they rode shadows like horses. So, and when his fate turned sideways, it disappeared, and no wall could stop them. So they just, whoop, or what are they doing? I mean, the shade might be, a shadow, but are they shadows? I don't know. So that was his first slaying of a beast, I think. So we were there for that. Yeah, so Bela is gone. That's unfortunate. But why is he taking the land and won't they see him then? Yeah. He's getting feverish. Tamas, so yeah, man, you have to get him to Nynaeve. Yeah, okay, now they're off. Ooh, interesting. That was the winter night. Yeah, so what did we learn? We learned that the winter, what winter means for the people there, and those two were quite well off because they only had to feed 2 people and not like a family, like the kind of family they described others having, which is horrible thought, if they can't get the food and if the winter stays. And it's staying because of the Dark One, isn't it? Because the Dark One is getting stronger. That's what I understood. So yeah, we got the sword. We got a bit more Tam mystery here, which I liked. More interactions between the two. Tam seems to be quite an honorable, brave man. Really, really brave. And he is skillful, so he managed to run away from the Trollocs and divert them to the mountains. That was clever. rant. So we had Narc, the employee of the month, who told about the mudra, and I mean it's the writers probably. So it might actually have been a real shade they saw, because they said it could make itself, like it can go through walls and stuff like that. So that might have been even a real shape stalking them. Though why would it not have taken them? Um, so Tam's hurt. They are gonna go to Nynaeve. Bela's gone, I think. So yeah, I hope they find her again. Yeah, so he's like, as far as I hope I understood it correctly, he's building like this little thing where he can put him on, and he can like pull him through forest. But I'm not so sure about that. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. Or perhaps I will ask my friends what it said in German. Perhaps there was a language problem there. But yeah, so he's somehow gonna get them to Nynaeve, which means, yeah, so it shows that he values Nynaeve. That's the first thing he thinks. Yeah, get him to Nynaeve. The Trollocs did not attack first. So the Trollocs came in, burst down the door. I mean, they ended the sheep because they wanted to have some fun, but they did not attack them outright. So Tam just went in and ended them. 2 of them, 4 of them, I think, 4. Yeah, well, that's good. So they are afraid of the murderer. And let's see where it goes. Will we see the Beltane? Will we not see it? Will we see it next chapter? Now it's already so much different from the show. I don't even know what's gonna happen anymore. Yeah, I'm quite excited for it, and yeah, now I'll talk to my friends about it and hopefully get some new information to you guys and for me as well. And so let's see my future self. Yeah, let's just give it over to my future self. Okay, I'm back. We discussed some stuff, and it was quite interesting stuff. So, first things first, I think we really liked dealing with the stories that Tom put forward. You know, the titles where I was already guessing stuff, and yeah, I think my friends actually all they agreed on most of the stuff I thought was happening, and yeah, what was it? It was, there it is here. Mosk the Giant and Elspeth, the Queen of All. We even imagined Elspeth might be the Statue of Liberty, you know, the Queen of All, because she's, you know, this image you have in your head when you think perhaps to America, about America. You know, it might be that that's actually the Statue of Liberty that they use here as a symbolism. And yeah, Tales of Materies, the healer, that's Mother Teresa. Teresa, whatever. I didn't know a lot about her, so I didn't see this. I suspected it, I think, but you know, because I didn't know she was from India. Thought she lived in the US because I only know the name. We never, I think here in Germany we never talk about her really. You know, it's not something we get taught here, but I've heard the name in shows and TV series and you know, movies perhaps. I heard her mentioned. Actually, the first time I really heard her mentioned was Scary Movie 3, where they are in the White House and there's this Mother Teresa award thing with the little figurines that, yeah, you know what happens if you saw the movie. But so I think that's, yeah, we thought it being Mother Teresa was highly likely. So because it's the wondrous Int, I mean India, and yeah, healer. You know, and it also fits that she got the Nobel Prize prior to this being published, and it was so all these events, moon landing, Cold War, Mother Teresa. I don't know. Is she called that Mother Teresa? Mother Teresa? But those events are quite closely together, and you know, it just shows the progression of stories through ages. It was very nice. We talked a bit more about that. We really liked Tome. All of us did like Tome a lot in this chapter. the way he was introduced, the way he acted, the way he was joking around with the kids, so to speak, and that he was quite a person that could move well and was still strong even though he seems very old. So, and he had these magic tricks and was like this magician and quite witty. And yeah, it's really a shame that the show didn't give us more Tome, but we spoke about it as well, and we it was like they only had 10 episodes or 8. I think it was even 8. I think it was 8, so it was quite some stuff they had to put to rest, so to speak. But also, it would have not fit probably for a show because the peddler comes and has a flashy entrance, and then he comes and has a flashy entrance, so to speak. We thought it was like, yeah, that's plausible that they changed it in the show. Though, yeah, it is really in the show they really have less flashy visuals. It is like they have these visually flashing descriptions, like Moraine is this fleshy lady, beauty, whatever, and Tome here is this flashy guy, with the patchwork cloak and stuff like that. And in the show, it's more like they try to emulate Game of Thrones with their style there a bit, which is not necessarily bad. It's just another vibe, I get a more fantastical vibe from these pages, from the persons described here. And I don't know, I this is more fantasy. This feels more fantasy a bit, but I like both things. So yeah. Then we talked a bit about Perrin. That Perrin is, there was a line that he says something to Tome where people could have thought that he was talking trash, but he was not, because he was just being honest. Let me see. Here. Not many around here have gone as far, and they are talking about where they were to Tome, and they are, and it says here, he was not boasting. Perrin seldom did. So he's quite a truthful man. He was just telling the truth. That's what it says. So in contrast to Matt, who is then boasting. So Perrin is quite a calm, laid-back person, and he only sometimes tells you something. And yeah, I'm quite curious where he goes, because I think the show Perrin does a good job in portraying this. Though in the show, the death of his wife really makes him a different character from this already. So I'm curious to find what is up with him in the future. Yeah, and then there is this little bit where I think, I don't know if I missed it or I did not think too much about it, but or perhaps I did, I just forgot already. But Tam is tasting the water at his well. So because I think he probably wants to make sure that it's not poisoned, because we talked about that as well. That poisoning a well has oftentimes been a tactic in war. If they could poison your well if you were in a castle or a fortress and they poisoned your well, you were done. You couldn't live through a siege, because you were just, yeah, I mean, you can't survive without water for what, 48 hours? Food is okay, it's a slow death, bad death still. Yeah, I mean, but you're done. If you don't have water, you're done. And yeah, that's very, it was quite striking. Also, we discovered some mistranslations in the German version, which was quite fun. But yeah, also that Tam is really looking out for Rand, and that when he jumps out the window, he runs to where he heard him last. It was something we all agreed on, that was quite a powerful detail. Because one of my friends said, yeah, he could have just jumped out and just ran because he assumed that Rand had already gotten into the forest, but no, he just went where he heard him last and went there to make sure that he's all right. And yeah, I like Tam a lot. He's a very great character here in the book, so I really, really like him, and we were quite impressed with this. And yeah, now they are going to Nynaeve, and we are happy that Bela is not slaughtered. So yeah, those were our little thoughts. We mainly talked about how we felt about the characters, that we really like most of them and or all of them, and that we are quite excited to meet Nynaeve and see what now she's gonna do, because she's introduced a lot differently as well here in the book. And yeah, it was really two great chapters. One very, very deep chapter in lore and ideas, and one very, very action-heavy packed chapter. And we now know that um, Trollocs can talk, and that Nark's the employee of the month. And yeah, bless him. Whatever. Anyway, if you like this, consider liking, subscribing. Shout outs to my two friends who read this with me. So yeah, we really enjoy this. It's so much fun doing this. And yeah, perhaps you're reading along, perhaps you're having some fun, and just tell me in the comments what you thought of the things I perhaps found or misinterpreted in your opinion or stuff like that. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. And if you enjoy this content, make sure to ring this bell. And yeah, whatever. I hope you have a very, very great start to the week tomorrow or today, whenever you watch this, and see you soon. Bye.